All right, welcome everyone. Happy Tuesday. It is a crisp fall day here in Seattle, and I'm so excited, especially when it's like I'm walking to work and all I see is these leaves changing color from like red to yellow, just because fall is coming through and there's so many changes within the weather. It's just gorgeous. I love the fall. I don't know about you all, but thank you. Thank you for the happy birthdays, y'all. I love it. So I'm Chef Lisa, by the way. If you all haven't met me before, I'm Chef Lisa. I'm here with Homemade. I love it here. It's one of my favorite jobs to do just because it's like you get to try so many different things that you normally don't. So today, speaking of fall, we're making American lamb stuffed focaccia. And it's not just any focaccia, it's a fall focaccia. So we're gonna like have something really versatile and flavorful with the lamb, but then you're also going to get some fall flavors with pumpkin, with a little warming spices, and then you're gonna have these like nice, chewy focaccia bread. All right, so we're gonna start with the dough. So we have our all-purpose flour. It's about 3 cups. I don't know if you can see it. 3 cups of all-purpose flour. We're gonna dump that in there. We also have our active yeast, sugar, and salt. There you go, perfect. We're gonna dump that right in the bowl. We have about 1.25 cups of warm water. You want warm water, not hot water. So be very careful because when the water and the yeast interact with the sugar, you want the yeast to be nice, warm, ready to eat the sugar. But if you have water that's too hot, if you have a thermometer, that'd be great. About 100 temp, 100 to 120 is the range you want to be in. You want it kind of like warm enough to put your finger in and you're not like, ooh, that's hot. You know what I mean? You don't want it to be like a bath hot. You want it a little less than that. So 100, 120. If you get to 130, you will kill the yeast and it won't rise. All right, we're gonna dump that in there. And we're gonna dump 1/4 cup of olive oil. You want a nice dough hook. We'll close this up here and get started on the stir. And give it about 6 to 8 minutes. Thank you, Christina. All right, as that's mixing, I'm gonna turn on the stove here. And we're just gonna heat it up, get some olive oil going, a little, about like a tablespoon or so. And as that's heating up, we're gonna chop up this onion and some garlic. And we're just trying to get our garlic and onion ready to combine with our delicious American lamb. And I gotta say, thank you to our partners at the American Lamb Board for providing us some beautiful USA grown American lamb that's provided by all the local ranchers from across the USA. Alrighty, we got our garlic. We're gonna throw that in there. And we got our onion here. We just want a little bit of onion just so we can make it nice and fragrant. Have y'all made focaccia bread? Do you all love focaccia bread? What's your favorite? Let me know in the chat. I'll throw some onions in here as well. And we're just mixing the dough for about like 6 minutes or so, y'all. And it will look something like this for now. Y'all see the dough? It's a little sticky, not too much. So we got our dough. We're gonna rest it for about 30 minutes to an hour. So of course here we don't have an hour to give you, so we're just proofing it in the back. But for you, you'll be proofing it for about 30 minutes to an hour. With the speed of the mixer should be like stir, right? Because you're throwing the ingredients in, only dry ingredients, quick mix. After that, you slowly put in your warm water and your olive oil. It should be a stir. So only stir, lowest setting. You don't want to overmix your focaccia, okay? All right, so our onions are nice and fragrant. I see someone has a really cool focaccia idea. I saw sun-dried tomatoes. I love a sun-dried tomato. Y'all, when I added the lamb, immediately when it hits the pan, you get grassy notes combined with the onions, olive oil, with the garlic. You really cannot get any worse than that. That is beautiful. Beautiful fragrance. So you're just gonna get like a spoon. Make sure your ground lamb is broken up. Mix all this together. And one of my favorite parts, we're adding the spices. We've got black pepper, salt to taste. We've got cumin, cinnamon, smoked paprika. You can use regular paprika if you want. And nutmeg. Wes in the building was kind enough to shred some nutmeg for me, which was so cool to see. You can always use ground nutmeg if you wish, but I like putting this together. All right, we've got our spices in. And what is fall without a little bit of pumpkin, right? We got our spices, now it's pumpkin time. So you're just gonna use your canned pumpkin here. And I don't know if y'all can smell it from the camera. They need to invent something like that where you could smell from watching whatever you're watching, because I could smell it. Oh, the nutmeg, the cinnamon, all activated by this heat. A little bit more salt and pepper to taste. When you season, don't forget to season from above so that way you have an even spread, y'all. Some people like to sprinkle a little lower. It's just a little bit more concentrated. That's like an old school chef trick that you may or may not know. Season from above. All right, so we're gonna put this lamb to the side, y'all. And we're just gonna let this cool. So quick recap, our dough is proofing right now behind us. So your dough should be proofing 30 minutes to about an hour outside, right? Like on the counter, preferably with a wet towel over it. Now with focaccia, it can get a little funky, y'all, right? Like you can overmix it, it could get too wet. There are a lot of things that can go wrong with the focaccia, but at the same time, it can be pretty forgiving. And as it cools, you should be able to put a little gorgonzola. And with gorgonzola, y'all, I don't know if you know about gorgonzola. Gorgonzola originated from northern Italy. It's skimmed milk, and they let it mold a little bit. You'll see little blue veins, little gray, blue bits in your gorgonzola. It could be really dry or it could be wet. So it really depends on what you want. Do you want something a little bit more stiff and dry, or do you want something like a little wet and crumbly? I like it to be a little wet and crumbly. So we're just gonna add some gorgonzola in the mix here. We're just gonna let it combine together. And this is gonna be what you're stuffing your focaccia with. We just made our dough, sitting in the back. We have our filling for our stuffed lamb with cheese, so much gorgonzola. It's like about a half cup of gorgonzola, and then you have your warm spices and your nice squash to go along with it, or pumpkin in this case. All right, we're gonna chop up some of our pumpkin for a garnish. So we want it to kind of look like this, nice thin slivers, and we got some thyme as well. So I'm super excited. The best thing about pumpkins is the no waste factor, right? So with your pumpkin, the pulp can be for puree, and your seeds can be like sunflower seeds. You roast them, you dry them, you salt them, you spice them, and that's a great snack. Yeah, so pulp for puree, seeds for a quick snack. Super, super flavorful. All right, let's cut some pumpkin. I like to cut it like this, just because I like the little fanning. So this is what you want. Nice little fans, so you can put it on top of your focaccia. And then we also have these beautiful thyme leaves right here. Oh, they smell so good, y'all. It's nice and perfumey. I love to put this on top. It garnishes really well, and they save really well. Not only that, when you put it in the oven, it will dry, and so it makes it a little bit more potent when you put it all together. All right, we're almost at the 30-minute mark, so I think I'm gonna take the dough that we have proofed over here. And this has been proofing a little bit since this morning. It's not as proofed as I'd like it to be, but this is just so you see what it will look like, right? So I'll show you two differences, okay? So this is what we got with our dough. So this is our dough right here, right? So you make sure you have a warm towel, you cover it, you proof it. That is without proofing it for a while, right? So this should be proofed about an hour, and then you have to, I know you're gonna hate this, but good things take a lot of time, right? So you're gonna wanna put this in the fridge. You wanna oil up a container, kind of like this. You could put it in like a to-go container if you wish. Oil it up, put it in a container like this, seal it up, and let it take a nap, an 8-hour nap. So when you're sleeping, it should be sleeping too, right? But when it sleeps, look at how gorgeous it could look. This is just from like a few hours, y'all. Nice and sticky. Look at that stretch. Oh my God, look at that. Whoa, gorgeous. So we have our 9x13. So I'm put a little oil on my parchment paper. Have fun with it, y'all. A little olive oil never hurt. You can do spray as well. But focaccia is so good with a nice drizzle of olive oil. And what you're gonna do is take half of this dough. You're gonna just stretch it out. Because what we really wanna do is have a tiny bit of a border to put our delicious American lamb in the center that we've made with some gorgonzola, and make sure that the bottom is not too thin, y'all. All right, so here's our cooled down lamb that we sauteed earlier. Gorgonzola, cumin, cinnamon, nutmeg, salt, pepper to taste, onions, garlic. All right, let's put it in the center here. There we go. This is gonna be on the inside. What a treat. When you bring this over to your friends and family, they think it's just a regular focaccia. No, it's a stuffed focaccia. Gorgeous. And look at this, y'all. Look at how wet this is. This is what your focaccia should look like. It's gorgeous. So we're just gonna stretch a little bit, stretch. And you really just want to make sure that you pinch the seams. So that way none of the meat escapes. And it's okay if it looks a little bit ugly right now from the top, because we got a little secret that we're gonna do after we pinch these seams. So when I mean pinch, you really pinch. Make sure the two doughs touch. And you can always just stretch a little bit, just a tiny bit for it all to be connected. All right, y'all. So we got our slightly ugly, but it'll bake out focaccia. Boom. Right? So we fold it over, we pinch the seams. And the best part about garnishing is white blemishes. This is your makeup to your focaccia. Bye. Boom. You are now so cute. What seams? What weird seams? I see nothing but beautiful pumpkin and thyme all over my focaccia. So you could do a little bit of a sprig. I like to do the sprigs and the leaves because it just looks really romantic. And why would you not want a little romance in fall? All right. And I would like to put on a little flaky salt. I don't know about y'all. Sometimes I like smoked flaky salt. That's what I have at home. But you can use anything like kosher salt too. I'm just gonna do a little sprinkle. And we're gonna do a little olive oil because focaccia loves olive oil. And our favorite here, a nice moist gorgonzola. Look at that, how gorgeous. Beautiful. And then you're gonna let this rest for a little bit more time, just so it can rise. It should get a little closer to the top. I would say get a wet towel, cover it up, and let it look real nice, okay? But instead of doing that right now, I'm about to show you what I made earlier. It's gonna be gorgeous. All right, so I'm gonna proof it in the oven real quick. The oven, by the way, the oven should be at 400 for 30 minutes. Then afterwards, you reduce it down to 350 for 30 minutes and let it rest about 15 minutes out the oven. Look at this beautiful focaccia, y'all. Look at this. Gorgeous. How can you go wrong with this? Right? Thank you. Yes, bread. Look at the bread. How beautiful. It has that nice focaccia crust. Your pumpkin has baked in. Your gorgonzola is nice and crumbly. I might take a little bite. Nice and crunchy cheese. Who doesn't want that? And your thyme is baked in and it looks beautiful. And this is what you could serve to your friends, family. And it's versatile and gorgeous. All right, shall we get a piece? Let's see. I'll cut it down like this. Are y'all a center or a corner piece kind of person? I'm a center person. And that sounds a little evil. Corner? Yeah, I do like the corners too. My chaotic self kind of wants to like dip in the center and just get the pumpkin, but I'm gonna be generous. I'm gonna wait. Be patient. And I'm gonna get this, what it looks like. Let's see. Look. We got our pumpkin right here. Look at our focaccia rise. Look at that crumble and crust. And it's stuffed with earthy, versatile lamb. I'm ready to eat, y'all. I'm gonna take a big old bite. You're right, Mike. Nobody puts baby in the corner. That is so good, y'all. Wow. That is some delicious, delicious focaccia. You get a nice crunch. You get that focaccia chew. And yet, the lamb is really moist because of the pumpkin puree. It's nice and spiced. And I gotta get a piece of this pumpkin here. Vegetal. Fall. This is what you want. I've actually never had a stuffed focaccia. And I'm so glad I discovered this stuffed focaccia. It's so delicious. This is gonna be a stunner for Thanksgiving. When it's a scary movie watch party, bring it. Look at this. It's a sandwich. You baked a sandwich, essentially. It's so delicious. I love it. I'm gonna have one more bite. And it's not too hot. You know, you guys know that I burn myself all the time eating this food because I just get so excited. It smells so good, you know? But that was delicious. Y'all, I just wanna thank you all for being so patient and loving and being amazing viewers. I can't wait until I can see your creations. Make sure to tag us on IG so we can see your creations. And it's always a pleasure. You're my homemade family. And I can't wait to teach you next time. Thank you to the American Lamb Board for making this possible. And our next class is Thursday, October 10th. Salmon, fish, and chips with homemade tartar sauce. Ooh, that sounds delish. I might have to sneak in and eat some of that. All right, see you guys next time. Love ya, bye.